Hi, it's Nancy welcoming you to Gardens Grow. It is Monday, March the 8th. Happy birthday to my sister Christine. And today I'm going to try to conquer this mess over here and get all this old dead stuff out of here. That's the goal anyway. We'll see how far I can get on it. I would love to finish the whole front, which I just lack all of this and then all of this little nook right here, and then from this side on over to the rest of this. And then yesterday I did get out and go ahead and clean out my seed box. So, or actually that was Saturday, not yesterday. Yesterday was Sunday. So that's the plan. We'll see how far I can get. And I still have my nails on my left hand. The right hand, however, I have lost. Well, actually, I've had to clip back all of them, but this one and my little pinky here are the ones that I totally lost the nails off of with the gardening. And I'm sure there'll be more to go, literally go. But that's the way I guess it has to be. I'm trying, though. I'm very much trying. I've actually tried to keep my nails all my life, and there was a period of several years, a lot of years, maybe 7 or something like that, that I didn't have any nails hardly at all, just a little bit from just struggling to have some. But anyways, the Lord has blessed me with fingernails this winter, so I am totally enjoying them as much as I can. And but I know that they'll probably be gone before all this is all cleaned out, and then if they should make it through that, it'll be planting time. Actually, this is the hardest on my nails and on my hands. They just get so dry and brittle. And then if I should manage to get that done today or tomorrow, probably more likely tomorrow, I would like to get started on this little spot right here and clean it out good, because I do have the area just right adjacent to it here, and right next to it is this little area that I do have cleaned down. So it's good to come out and see some clean spots in the garden. Very disheartening to see all this stuff all around it, but eventually we'll get it all cleaned out and it'll be great. And by we, I mostly mean me, although my husband does help some, and anything that's a little too physical for me, he will come and help me or do it for me, just do it for me most usually. So that's great, and I appreciate it. Do y'all play that game too? I mean, we don't mean to make it a game, but we know when we say we need to do that, we know which one of us we is, depending on the job. Or I may get sidetracked and have to try out my new hoe and see if I can get some of this grass and weeds that I haven't, even some of the flowers that are getting a little bit, just too many of them. Some of this, not this particular spot, but some of the blanket flower is taking over. I had one last year that actually took over my big, beautiful red Lord Baltimore hibiscus. I did not think that a small little plant like this would take it over, but it practically killed it. There's one little shoot that lived, but just barely, and that was only because I cleaned all this out from away from it. Okay, I'm going to go get my gloves on, because this is what I do, and I noticed that wasn't getting all of the roots, so I'm going to have to be pulling up some of it, because there's no point in just breaking it off. It'll just be right back. So I'm going to go get my gloves on and finish this little task. So after I got that little bit, I decided to just keep going and come on over here and get this. There's a bunch of grass coming up right in front of my little sitting area. And I want to get this out of here. I did this last year too, and it just washes in. There's a little dip here where it just runs water through there and plants those seeds, but I've got to get them up before they get too tall and even harder to get up. I might actually take this one this is a Sweet William. Hopefully be very pretty, and I may move it because it'll be a little bit tall for being right in front of the swing. Whereas this is some sedum, I'm pretty sure, and I will leave that. It won't get very big, and it will make a much better ground cover than a bunch of unwanted grass will. So I wanted to show you, this is one bag full of henbit, and a little bit of larkspurs in there too. But what a mess that was to clean out. So I did get sidetracked from my original plan of getting the front done first, but I got this cleaned out, so I'm feeling good about that. Got all that grass out of there. That was a job. And I had a tremendous amount of blanket flower, Gaillardia, coming up here, and I went ahead and chopped it down too. I want some Gaillardia, but once I found out that it does overtake even much larger plants, I did go ahead and take some of that out in this area anyway. I try to get it all, but there's probably some still going to come up, which is okay. I just, like I said, I don't want it to get taking other stuff over. And this is the area that I just told you a while ago that I didn't know what I was going to do to get that mess out of there. So I've got a bunch of it out of there. Let me see, this looks like I missed one right here. Yes, I did. And if you've heard it pop off of there, that means the root's still down there, so I'll have to get that one out again. But for the most part, I got a lot of this out. I did leave a little of the larkspur, but I'm going to pull it up, not all of it, but most of it up before it goes to seed, so that I don't have it choking out my iris. And they were a lot of them were choked out, and the others were on their way out because they're so small and not doing well. But I think now that you can tell these right here are practically gone, but I think some of that will come out of it too. So I'm gonna hope for the best, and it certainly looks better, so I'm very pleased with that, even if I don't get the front cleaned out. But I'm gonna go get some of it cleaned out. Oh, and on the way to the front, I'm seeing all of this henbit everywhere. That'll be another place I'll have to literally sit down, take my knife, loosen up the root, and pull up each one of these. Oh, I hate that job. I'll be glad when I get a handle on that henbit where it doesn't come back like that. And I'm going to go back to where I just was. I want to show you something else I found while I was out here working here. I looked over at this other side, because I've been telling you I've been concerned about my peonies because they got a fungus last year. Actually, I told you they got a fungicide, but you know, slip of the tongue there. But look, there's one little nubbin coming up, so there'll be others. Now on the other hand, here, I dug here, and this is a mold tunnel, so I'm gonna have to come out here and put some more mold bait out here. I did have my gloves on earlier, but as you can see, I took them off to pull that weed. But anyway, I've got to put something in this mold run and hopefully kill that mold. I can tell that's what this probably is too, right here. But I'm grateful that I do have some peonies coming back, even though this one was also a peony and I don't see anything there. So I don't know how many of them I may have lost to that mole. We got our first really good enough to measure in the rain gauge. spring rain of the season. And there are bulbs blooming, popping up all over. Little buds and blooms are opening up to rejoice in the spring and the spring rain. It feels so good to be out this morning. Friday morning, we took our first Moderna shot for COVID, and the shot didn't hurt me. It was a tiny little sting, nothing to complain about at all. And I went home and felt good all day, and I worked an hour and a half in the garden. So I was thinking everything was going to be great. And then I went to bed, and I woke up about 2 hours later with chills, shaking chills like I'd never had before. Even when I had COVID, I didn't have the shaking and the body aches, and that came with it, and it was pretty bad. It was really bad. And I felt that way all night. I woke up to chills that shook me 3 different times in the night. And the next day I felt terrible all day. But then I called my daughter to find out if she was doing okay, because as it turned out, she ended up having her first Moderna shot the same time that we did, the same day. And so, but she didn't have any reactions, neither did my husband, so I was the only one. But I was very much in a whining state. And she said, "Mom, I think you can take a Tylenol after you've already had the shot." So I took a Tylenol, and within 20 minutes my symptoms started subsiding. I slept good through the night, and I'm ready to go again today. Of course, I'll do the second shot next month, so I'm a little bit concerned about it, because sometimes I've heard that it can have a worse reaction than your first one did. So I hope that's not the case, but it'll be good to have it done and get it behind us, and I feel that we've at least tried and done our part. After this rain, things will be springing up everywhere, and I still, of course, do not have all the old dead foliage out. I've been trying to work on it, but I just keep getting side railed with something besides just fatigue from doing it, which that's a big portion of it. But I planned on getting out here yesterday, but I did not. There's no way I could have done it yesterday. But we'll try again next week and see how far we can get on getting this cleared out. At least, as I told you, I did get all of the front cleared out. Look, there's more daffodils in bloom. All of this has to be cleaned out, and I'm anxious to get it cleaned out so it'll be pretty. I have another little thing that fell off of the wall, the outside of the storage building, so I'll have to get that fixed up again soon. Lots of things that I need to still get picked up, straightened up, and get the rest of the bags off. I don't want to do them too early on the glass things, because you just rather not take the chance of them getting broken. And then we'll have to get all this side all cleaned out too. So much to be done. So I'm thinking that today after rain would be a good time to plant some things, and I have purchased these. This is a clematis called City of Lion. This is are the hollyhocks. which I have some hollyhocks, and I used to have some double hollyhocks, but I guess the birds and the bees decided they were all going to be single, because that's what all of mine are. So I'm going to try these again and see if I can get some double ones in the garden. I've tried this orange Perfection phlox several times, and I don't know what the thing is. I think perhaps the birds and the bees are taking them all to my most prolific one, which is called Lara phlox, which is beautiful too, but it would be great to have, you know, just all the different colors in the garden instead of just the one color. And then I've had these before. I don't know what happened to the lilies, because I don't think the moles and voles bother these because they're poisonous to them. But for some reason they have not been coming back up, and I just think that's a pretty unique little plant. I would like to have it growing in my garden. I can't remember, I may have already showed you these, but I also purchased this little Spanish moss, or is it Spanish or some kind of moss? Just a minute, I'll tell you what kind. Scotch moss, which is so pretty. I love that yellow green color anyway. And this is the dew plant or ice plant. Ice plant says. So, and I love these little plants too. I don't have any luck with those usually, but I don't know if they maybe didn't get enough drainage, so I'm going to try that again too. And I planted a couple of little dianthus. These are supposed to be the perennial dianthus, so hopefully they'll be coming up every year from now on. And here's the other little dianthus, not looking so great from being watered on with the rain, but I'm sure it loves it anyway. And I ordered a lace Cap Hydrangea, and it came in yesterday, which I thought was a little early for it to be in, and it's in a dormant stage, so I'm a little concerned. But I guess I'm going to just go ahead and plant it, and hopefully it will just begin to put its root down and grow and be fine. That's the hope. And I think I'm going to put it right in this area. And this beautiful primrose is looking great here. I don't know how long it'll look great, and they're kind of like a pansy in that they don't like the warm weather, so they'll be gone before very long. But I would love to be able to keep them where they would come back again next spring. That's the hope. And I did put them in a pot so that I can bring them inside for the fall. And of course, here's where I planted some. I actually planted some Canterbury bells, some delphinium, and the rest of these are poppy seeds, different kinds of poppy. So I hope they will grow for me. And I put this netting on here just to try to help deter the birds, and I don't know if that's going to really deter them or not, because they'll eat the seeds up, and I don't want that. I didn't go ahead and put anything in this little pot. I think it would come back in petunias, because that's what was there last year, and there's probably enough seed there, but I'll just have to wait and see, or even if I may want to just put something else there. I took the plastic off of a few things. This is one of them, and this will give you an idea how much it saved the plants, because you can tell that where it came out from under the plastic, it's not looking good at all, or there's nothing there, but where the plastic was, it's looking great. And I believe hopefully the roots of this will come on out too. If they don't, I'll just either plant something else or transplant some of this over into that area. But it's looking good, and I'm proud of it. You do have to, however, leave the edges or someplace where air and moisture can get in there too through the winter. So I will try to get started with my planting job and see how that will go today. Today is Monday, March the 15th, and this is kind of what went down today. So I went ahead and moved away from this stump. I had 2 coral bells or helleborus right there in that area. I removed those. I had several more, one good sized one, and I think 3 or maybe 4 smaller ones. And then this is some blue salvia that my husband clipped off, and I decided, well, it really was trying to green up, so I went ahead and put some root develop on its roots and on this one here too, thinking that maybe it will go ahead and root and go ahead and continue to green up. And in just a minute I'll show you where I put them. And this is where I put that Scotch moss. Hope it does well there. Oh, and you know, I told you those little blue pots, I couldn't remember what I did with the other pots. Well, I remembered because they had balloon flowers growing up with this little tiny thundercloud sedum, and I don't see any sign of the little balloon flower that was growing up with them, but they may just take longer to come up too. So I'm going to wait and hope that I do get a balloon flower there with them too. But I'll either let this one stay here, or I'll take it and put it in those little blue containers, because right now only one of them had the thundercloud sedum in it, and I'm going to put it in all three of them. I also did go ahead and thin these out a little bit more so that there's spaces in between them a little better. And then I put some of the ones that I thinned out where there wasn't any, so that hopefully this will grow up here and look really pretty this year. It looked a little sparse in places last year, and then in other places it was so thick that it got well, just a minute, I'm so tired, I can't even think, but where it gets white, the fungicide on it that makes them get all white and blotchy looking, that's what it had done, and that's caused from it not having good air circulation. There needs to be, and this one should probably, I'm sure it should be, thinned out too. And I may before it's over, but I won't do that today. But they need to be thinned down, or else they'll get that fungus, not fungicide. I somewhat cleaned this little area out, and my husband cleaned around the shed for me, all the way around it, but he got the big stuff. I will need to go back in and get some of the smaller stuff that he missed. But we still got two big humongous bags. His is bigger than this one, full of debris, so that's a good day's work. And here in front is where I put my little Lenten roses. And then there's a pot there that are not blooming yet. The biggest one that I had is this one right here. And not only did I have it, but I also had enough to give my nieces some starts of it. And then another one I will give this one to the one that requested it. So, and it's kind of fallen over there now because that pot's not quite big enough for its roots, but I'm sure she will put it someplace where it will be beautiful. And then this is the little pink one. I also moved the coral bells right here, and there is two there. The other one's kind of behind these little girls, and it was very small. It actually gotten burned when we tried to burn that tree stump out back there. I hope I called these Lenten roses and not hellebores when I first started, because these are the hellebores or coral bells, of course, and then these are the Lenten roses that I divided and gave some for my nieces and then put the others in pots. And I think they look good here. As a matter of fact, I think I'm going to, if they do well here, I think I'm going to really like them here. And I'm quite sure my nieces will love their little starts too, and they will take care of them and make them big and beautiful. And these little small ones beside them here are the Laura Tall phlox that I went ahead and got some starts of those for them too while they're small, because they're already getting hard to break apart and dig out. And then I'm not sure what little bulb this is, but she got a little extra bulb there, but I left the rest of them in the back. So, powdery mildew is what I was trying to think of a while ago. The things that zinnias also get if they don't get good air circulation. So that's why I thin this out some, and I think it'll still make a really good showing, probably even better than it did last year. And then here's some more of those little variegated shoots coming up that are some type of bulb. I'm not sure. They may be some type of a tulip. I'm not positive what they are yet. We'll find out when they bloom. So Lacey, I went ahead and divided my Lenten roses, and of course this one is for you. That's the one you requested. Happy birthday. And I still had a lot of it left, so I put the rest of it in a pot. I had to move them anyway because I had to take my pear tree down because it rotted, I guess. Anyway, it no longer was alive, so we took it out. But so I also got besides this for you, I got you this one also. And I got one for your sister. And then I got these two little ones these are actually bigger than they look. They come up about this tall and get the big fluffy blooms. Grandma's got some. I'm sure you've seen them. They're the tall phlox, and the butterflies just love them. So you'll probably want these. I don't know what this is. Did you see this little variegated bulb in here? I'm not sure. I can't remember what I planted there, but it accidentally got dug up with this other, so it's yours too. And again, happy birthday. Oh, and I forgot to tell you, but we will be bringing them by Friday sometime. If you have other plans, don't worry, we know where you live, or we can leave them with your mom or grandma. So we'll get them to you probably Friday. Happy Easter. I hope you're blessed beyond measure. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel.